And at 8:04, we are here for Tiger Talk. Welcome to Tiger Talk, your source for information about your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by Hancock's Neighborhood Market, delicious homemade goodness. Whistle Stop Donuts, String Beans Coffee House, Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes, Brantley Furniture, Perry's Floors and more. Stay tuned, Tiger Talk coming up next on your hometown radio station, WPKY The Tiger. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade goodness. Hancock's makes their own fresh chicken salad, pimento cheese, salads, and a variety of mouth-watering desserts sure to please your entire family. While at Hancock's, be sure to visit their meat department for the best selection of USDA choice meats in the area. Hancock's Neighborhood Market in Cadiz, hometown, homemade goodness, and the Hancock name you know and trust for quality for your family. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. And remember, after 11 a.m., donuts are only $5 per dozen through August 8th. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
All righty, we are back here at 8:06 here on Tiger Talk, and have the pleasure of welcoming into the WPKY Tiger Studio Sheriff Stan Hudson of Caldwell County. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great.
It's good to have you here. We're enjoying our Whistle Stop donut holes.
Oh yeah, you know how to get me here, didn't you?
I knew how to get. Yeah, just sniff for the donuts. Well, it's great to have you here, and first time you've been in here in probably a little while, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I'm glad you're opening up to public officials and stuff where we can talk and tell people what we're thinking. They need to know what's going on. I appreciate that.
That they do, and you play a big role here in our county as to not law enforcement, all kinds of other things, and I know what's probably foremost on most people's minds is what's coming up here on August the 21st. Of course, we're about 27. We're under 30 days now. We're 27 days away.
You can't be talking about the eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it.
I kind of lay my head down at night and I just, I just think about the eclipse. It seems like, but so it's on the forefront of everybody's mind, just because there's a lot of unknowns about it.
Unknowns with everyone. Yeah.
And you and I sat in a meeting last Wednesday with Joey and all kinds of officials, and my take from the meeting is that we're on top of this, and we're as prepared as possible. So let's talk a little bit about your preparation, your department's preparation, and how you see things.
Of course, I've been sheriff now 19 years, and I've probably met more times getting ready for this than I have anything that we've ever been involved in. Not only with law enforcement, but with emergency management, of course, with environmental protection, with sanitary, problems that's in the county that's going to be and we've got multiple meetings with other counties getting involved because it's going to be crossing the line.
Right.
Of course, we're prepared and we've been planning. If anything, I don't know if you can say overplanned, but I'd rather overplan than underplan because there's so many unknowns. I've met with, of course, Captain Brent White with the state police, and of course we're going to work together. He's going to mainly handle the interstates, try to keep them open, and he's going to try to keep 91 open, Hopkinsville Road, because we all know what's going on out there with SoQuest. Of course, there's going to be traffic congestion everywhere, and we still got our normal calls that we're going to have to answer, and then we're going to have to prioritize that as we get to it. But I think with the extra officers that the state police are bringing in, and then with me working my deputies overtime, and of course the city will be working theirs overtime too, and we're going to have enough manpower in our area to keep things moving.
Right.
It's just it's a big event, and it's exciting. It's not necessarily a bad thing for our community. It's actually a good thing for our community, economically speaking. You know.
Right.
But we just want everyone to keep in mind how much traffic and keep in mind private property too. We've got to stay off private property. Got to respect landowners because there are laws that protect landowners. And I've had several call me up at the office and ask, "What do I do in this case if I have cars pulling over and do this and do that?" And I've advised them that we're just going to have to follow the law.
And that's just maybe politely just ask them. That,
yeah, first give them tell them they need to leave and
Yeah.
they don't need to stay there and stuff like that.
Do we think we'll have a lot of that? I mean, do you suggest people maybe put some no trespassing signs if they're just
Probably wouldn't hurt.
adamant about?
Probably wouldn't hurt. Yes, yes. And of course, if someone parks on your property and they leave their vehicle, then you have the right as a landowner or as a property
Have it
owner
towed?
to have it towed.
Yeah.
And they come back and there's not going to be a vehicle there.
Right.
Yes, yes. But that'll be up to the landowner. The only way we can have it towed is if it's on the roadway or on the right of way. Yes.
What are your? I mean, I've been on websites trying to do research as far as the influx, and I've seen some interesting influx of folks coming in here. You see all kinds of different numbers. Yeah. And the planners, I think, and from what I have gathered from the meetings I've attended, are that they're just that they plan high. Like you said, it's not over planning, but they're planning for the maximum either influx of folks or whatever. And I think that you're exactly right. We need to make sure our citizens here, and we've read several of these. I know the departments have come out and said, need to maybe top off your gas tank a day or few ahead.
Bottled water.
Bottled water. It's almost like if there's an impending winter storm coming, kind of prepare that way.
Correct.
That's about really all you can advise our local citizens to do, isn't it?
Right, right. I mean, we wasn't able to prepare for the ice storm.
No.
And we made it through that.
Right.
So, and this is something we're able to prepare for. So that's one good thing. We've had plenty of notice and we know what's going on. So that helps us as law enforcement. Of course, as law enforcement, we usually go to something we don't know what's going on. We have to react, but we're being very proactive with it when this comes. And of course, as far as tactically speaking, I'm going to geographically position deputies in different parts of the county. That way, of course, Fredonia will be one of my main focuses.
This 91 corridor is
yes, all the way to Fredonia. That's one of the high concept. And then we've got the intersections. You get 672 crossing 91 out there. We've had a lot of serious accidents in that area.
Yes.
And of course, we're relying on the Department of Transportation to put up signage and maybe help us out there so we don't have any serious accidents. And I hope everybody will be aware of that. I want everybody to enjoy the Eclipse, but if they can enjoy it at home to help us with traffic congestion, that would be better. But I know we've got events going on like the Soul Quest, which I think is very good, and I appreciate Harold Riley and them doing that, and David Ginn, and they've prepared. I've listened. We went over them with their plans, and there's nobody more prepared than they are.
I think they're very organized.
The
impression is that they've been on top of this for a while, and they are on top of things. And I think I'm going to have Brother Harold come in, coming up here pretty soon to kind of finalize and get us ready. But I know your department has been working extremely, diligent on getting a plan, working with other agencies.
Well, just yesterday we were working on putting different frequencies in our radios so we could communicate with state police and also communicate with the adjoining counties. Of course, we have to have there's little loops you got to go through legally to do that with mutual aid agreements and have interoperability and all that. Because when you cross that line, my jurisdiction really runs out. But in this case, it don't. I've already talked to Sheriff Livy Level over at Christian County.
Yes.
We've been on the phone a lot together, and the other sheriffs in the area, and we're all on the same page. So that's I know as far as the residents, they need to feel comfortable that we're going to be out there and we're going to be doing our best.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. To kind of what can you tell the public that's listening right now, just to kind of reassure them that yes, we're probably going to see an influx of folks, but everything's going to be all right. We're on top of things.
Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Because I think some people, you just kind of get that, the unknown. It's just sort of a claustrophobic kind of feeling, like, is there going to be gridlock? I can't move. And I think some people are a little, anxious about that.
Anxious, yeah. I mean, but they need to realize that we're going to have to prioritize our calls.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a little fender bender, and we might be out on a more serious call, and it might be a while before we get there. So I'm asking for patience.
Health and welfare is number one.
When you get 20,000 is kind of what they're projected in our area, as far as it just I'm talking about just right in our area that I'm probably going to have to deal with. And then also you got to think about the day after, when everybody's leaving.
Yeah.
That's going to be a time. It's not over. They're still expecting around 5,000 people to be in the area and be leaving, so that's still a lot of extra people to have to deal with.
Yes.
So keep that in mind when you're going to work the next day, and of course school will be open the next day and everything. So we're still going to have extra people out just for that, and then the state police are aware of that too.
Pretty much all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Okay.
Yeah. Be working several hours. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything as far as your prep and planning that we have not touched on as far as the Eclipse is concerned? I mean,
I can't think of anything. Okay. We basically communication is going to be big. Being able to communicate. Of course, out on Hopkinsville Road, you got your cell phone problems.
Yes.
So, but I think Joey McCaslin's got that taken care of. He's been working on that hard as far as getting us another antenna out there. That's kind of getting out of my area. I don't know how that works, but he's supposed to get it to where we can talk a lot better. And then also, we're going to have a backup system to where we can talk. Yes.
Yeah, my understanding is there are special things in place so that law enforcement and key folks out there will have access and priority to cell towers and communications so that
you got to have a contingency plan. You got to have Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. You got to have just in case, But I believe we've got that covered. So
I feel confident, like I said, from the meetings I've been in. But it's 16 after the hour. Let's take a String Beans Coffee House coffee break and a McLovett's Cupcake Craze break. And we'll come back and we'll talk some more with Caldwell County Sheriff Stan Hudson right here on Tiger Talk. You listen to Tiger Talk on your hometown radio station, 103.3 FM, 1580 AM, WPKY, The Tiger. String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks, hot, over ice, or frozen. They serve lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Like them on Facebook to view their weekly menu. They also rent out the back room for birthday parties, anniversary parties, and baby showers. That's String Beans Coffee House, 108 East Main Street, Princeton. Give them a call, 270-365-0550. Shh! It's Princeton's best-kept secret. Pardon me?
Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes in downtown Princeton. It's truly the best-kept secret in Princeton. Come down and enjoy a delicious homemade cupcake made from scratch and only from the finest ingredients. While downtown, enjoy a sweet treat on the patio in front of our shop. It's a delightful way to spend a moment with a friend or someone you love. Check out Instagram and Facebook for the Mrs. McLovett's Flavor of the Week. Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, where there's always room for a cupcake. Phone 270-963-2544 to place an order.
And we're back here with Caldwell County Sheriff Stan Hudson on Tiger Talk. And I tell you what, I go up the courthouse quite a bit, and I pop into the sheriff's office from time to time. Wonderful staff you have. Of course, your wife Pam is an anchor up there, but you've got a wonderful staff of deputies. And let's talk about them. Give them some kudos.
Pam's the boss.
Yeah.
I mean, ask my deputies. They've done told me that if they want anything done, they'll go see her, and then she'll tell me what to do. But I got Lori Francis. She's been with me ever since I've been in the office, and she takes care of my taxes. So that's probably as far as the sheriff goes, sheriff's office goes, that was one reason it was established to collect taxes.
And that's coming up 1st November.
And we get audited twice a year.
Yeah.
And she's had one of the best audits in the state every year. So I'm very fortunate to have her and Taryn Davis and my wife to work up there. They've done a tremendous job since I've been sheriff for 19 years. And also I try to hire deputies that live here. That way they've got a lot invested in this community, and they have families, and they know how important it is to keep everybody safe. And I've got a great bunch of deputies, and they make me look good, look better than I need to, than I am. I'll put it that way.
Well, they're very visible in the county, and I know they work hard. Let's talk about those guys. Who you got?
Well, we got Brock Thomas. I just hired him part-time.
Okay.
You know, he used to be, everybody knows Brock.
Yep.
He worked
Happy
for me.
anniversary, Brock.
Yeah,
you and
happy
Melissa.
anniversary. Yeah, he worked for me about 10 years before he, decided to go into running for office and go on a different path. And then, of course, I've got Chris Noel. He's my chief deputy.
Right.
And he's been my chief deputy since Brock left, because Brock was a chief deputy at the time. Then I got Tony Noel. And then I've got Nate Herron and Keith Suits.
Right.
And Seth P. Poole and Jeremy Hilliard. And then I've got a special deputy, Jim Solomon. He hadn't been really active here in a while because he's working on a house, and he's been real busy. But he's helps me out in the Lake Bashir area.
Oh,
he kind of
okay.
covers that area for me.
Well,
and then,
good.
of course, Keith Suits covers Fredonia
Right.
area for me. And then I've also got Mike Bates. I just hired him as a court security officer. So
Okay.
he covers the court. Of course, Tony's a school resource
Right.
officer.
And Chris is dispatch, isn't he?
And Chris is actually the
director of
dispatch.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got our hands in a lot of areas.
You do.
A lot of different things going on. And let me make sure I got off track there talking about stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
miss
threw.
one.
What about Ladd? Is he
Ladd, oh yeah, Steve Ladd. Can't
Yep.
forget old Steve. Steve, I don't know what we'd do without him. Steve's, of course, on up in the years, but I'll tell you what, he does a tremendous job.
He does. Every time I'm going out 139 South, if I happen, I go to Katie. So if I have my foot in the pedal, he flashes his light at me from time.
I'll warn you a few times unless you're really going fast.
Steve has done that to me a few times.
Yeah.
So.
I think I've got everybody. I shouldn't have got off track.
And Jeremy
there.
Hilliard, did we
I
mention
said-
Jeremy?
yeah, we
Okay.
mentioned Jeremy.
All right. But yeah, fantastic. And like you said, they're hometown. People know their
Hometown,
faces.
yeah.
They're very visible,
Yeah.
and they do have. They are invested in this county,
They
and
are,
you want
yeah.
that. And they do a fantastic
They-
job, and
Tremendous job.
and
yes.
they're out on the front
Yeah.
line every day, and we can't thank
Yes,
them
you know,
enough.
They're my right arm,
And I know you're thankful for them.
I'm very thankful.
And they
for 'em.
do
I've
it.
been fortunate, yes. Mhm.
Do a fantastic job. So thanks to you guys out there
Appreciate
from
that.
all of us here. And we talked a little bit off air, and we're going to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And part of your job as sheriff is law enforcement, and we get reports, here at the Tiger. We appreciate that of things, but let's talk about some of the things your deputies face out here in the field on a day-to-day basis. We were talking, years ago. It was meth labs. When you first came,
When I
there were
first
meth
came
labs
in,
everywhere.
yes,
They were
yes.
cooking it in the back of
Every
cars
week.
and houses.
Every
Yeah.
week, yeah.
But there's a new kind of a really dangerous sort of thing going on, especially in mid-America, rural America. It's coming in through the big cities, but it's also funneling its way down here to these rural areas,
Exactly.
and that is fentanyl and some of these opiates and things
Yes.
such as that. So
Yes.
let's speak to the audience about some of the things you've seen and some of the things that folks can look out for and those kind of things.
Right. I mean, it just runs in phases. When I first came in '98, I'll never forget it. Cheyenne Albro came to me and said, "Get ready for the meth. It's coming from the West Coast and it's moving this way." And I said, "What's meth?"
yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Really. And he's talking about meth labs. I said, "Well, what's a meth lab?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he had us put on those big SCBAs, these suits where we're breathing
Sure.
apparatus, where we had to, law enforcement had to do that.
Yes.
We had to get certified in that because if we inhaled all this stuff, we would die.
Yeah.
We're kind of running into the same thing now, but it's heroin.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, opiates are bad. Pills are really
Yeah.
bad, especially amongst our young people. They think they can take painkillers and anything that's prescribed and it won't hurt them. They're wrong.
They are wrong.
We're finding out that that's causing more deaths than accidents.
I was
or
just going to say they're
collisions.
dead wrong.
Yeah, they're really dead wrong. You're exactly right. But this heroin, they are, of course, cutting it with fentanyl. They're putting a little fentanyl in it. It's supposed to give them a better high, or who knows? I can't understand.
But
why
it's
people
very,
do
very,
these
very
things.
powerful.
Very powerful, very powerful. I know up in around Cincinnati,
Yes.
Louisville, Lexington area, it's bad, and it's moving. It's going to move this way. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're just getting a little bit of it. I know there was a case here not long ago that we had a little fentanyl that can cause a death.
Right.
Cause some deaths. And we're prepared for it. We've went to several trainings on it. That's what we have to do. We have to just, as it comes along, we have to get ready for it.
Explain to the folks what little I know about it, but just what I've researched and read. I mean, there is a potential hazard similar to meth for officers and first
yeah,
responders with this stuff. I mean, it can go through. Even if you have gloves on, some of the gloves actually help. It can be absorbed in your skin.
Yes, it can.
And
it can kill
or
officers.
get inhaled.
Yeah, officers can die if they get too much on their skin or if they inhale it. And I know a lot of first responders are carrying Narcan with them, especially up northern Kentucky.
That's sort of an antidote for this, isn't it?
It is, and it's an injection or it's a thing you put it up your nose.
Right.
And then it's supposed to stabilize you till EMS gets there, and then they can take it from there. But it saves people's lives. And they're just finding people. I know up in northern Kentucky, I've talked to some of my sheriff friends up there, and they're finding people on the side of the road just passed out.
Yeah, they're just gorked out in cars, aren't they?
Yes. It's gotten so bad up there. There was one guy put a sign up in his window and said, I'm not on heroin. I'm just pulled over taking a nap. It's bad because he thought officer.
And nobody knows,
Nobody knows, because it's really, and I was told, I don't know if this is true, that they've actually selling this Narcan, some of it up in some of the stores and stuff up in northern Kentucky. Now, I don't know if I can't verify that, but it's getting that bad. I mean, it's really
a sad
dangerous.
deal.
And our young people need to know how dangerous it is.
Yes.
We need to get it out, which we go to the schools a lot and talk to them about it and try to get that out to our children and stuff, because sometimes they just don't realize the dangers that they're getting into, and they get out with their friends. And that peer pressure, hey, just try this. That might be the end of their life. They need to know that.
That's a great point, because if you don't, when you're a kid, you don't always know that's good, and it might be just somebody, whether it's peer pressure or just say, here, try this.
Exactly.
And that one deal, and it could be all over for you. Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's, our young people need to know that, especially with some of this stuff that's coming in. I mean, it's nothing to be fooled out. I mean, this is pharmacy grade. Stuff that
and we
people
work closely with the task force. I mean, I just was talking to them yesterday. I actually met with them yesterday and talked to them a little while about different things that's going on in our county and what kind of drugs they're seeing and what kind of course, the thing that they're buying most right now is the crystal meth. We're seeing a lot of crystal meth coming in here. They've seen a little heroin, but it's still nothing like it is up north in the bigger cities and stuff in northern Kentucky. But the big cities is really getting hit hard with heroin. But the task force arrests people every day. I mean, they do. They arrest people every day, and because we serve their warrants for them
right.
times, and the courtrooms are full of people we arrest on drugs. It's more of a sickness.
It's a sad deal.
They need treatment.
That's right.
But you can't decriminalize it, because then you're just telling people it's okay. So it's a tough situation.
It is.
It's a war, and it's a battle that we'll keep fighting. That's just what it is. It's a battle.
It's a
war
battle.
on drugs, because we know drugs cause burglaries. They all cause all kinds of crime. They cause murders, homicides. And they cause everybody breaking in, just whatever they can steal. I mean, I've seen family members steal from other family members.
Right.
Just so they can go get buy some pills. Or actually steal pills from the elderly out of their medicine cabinets and stuff, grandma or whatever, and you got to keep that in mind. So always put your pills up, and we've got
you've got a program there,
for that. So we want to educate the people on that. Just bring your
and what can they do if they need some help with that?
Just call me.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come and get it actually if you need us to. But we've got a pill disposal there at the office, and then we always take it about twice a year to state police, and then they dispose.
Right. I know there's the state, and sometimes the state has a promotion where they do that too. But you can do that right here in our county.
Yeah, we've taken, I don't know, 100 pounds of that stuff to them over the years.
That's a great program, because you don't want this stuff. You don't know what it is. It's laying around, and it is dangerous. And it might be something
unless the doctor prescribes
exactly.
It, take it as he prescribes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good advice, and appreciate that, because it is a serious note, and it is a problem that not just big cities have. It trickles down to us. Another thing that I thought was interesting, we'll touch on this real quick, and then I know you got to get back to work. I thought it was interesting the other day, and I don't mean to throw you, but the girls that were here talking about with the eclipse and all the traffic moving in here, they were talking about human trafficking. We just had a big national story,
I saw that.
and I think that's interesting that law enforcement needs to be on the lookout for potential human trafficking during this time, because
actually my daughter-in-law's involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want her to.
About that
yes.
Time she was telling me about someone that was actually a victim of that. They were trafficked. Brought over here with human trafficking, And she said to hear her story was just heart-wrenching, you know, to see how, and it goes on more than you think.
And this seems like
coming
it's
down the interstates and stuff.
exactly.
I mean, that's why interdiction's so important, and we
like to have
takes a lot more help, and a lot more officers to do interdiction on the interstate. So
Sure
we've got
does.
the I-69 corridor coming right through here, and that's going to make it even harder, or our county more of a focus as far as hitting these interstates. But
and these main arteries are where
Yes,
that's going
yes.
to really pose a problem if any of that's going on.
right. Yeah, that's just another.
I know Megan was there the other day,
Yes,
and I'd like to have her in to talk about that
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know they were the PAX was going around town and
They
had
are.
some
They're-
signs and
They're trying to get awareness, you know.
and that's good.
Because, you know, the communities are our eyes and our ears. You know, you keep hearing that, but you are. We can't see everything, and we
Right.
can watch for everything, and we can't cover everything. But if, you know, one phone call might save a life, so don't hesitate to call. Yes.
and let's give those numbers out. Let's go
Okay,
ahead and
Sheriff's
promote that.
Office is 365-2088,
Mhm.
and you can call us at 2089 too if you need to.
Okay.
And of course, dispatch is 365-7860. You can call dispatch.
You're right.
Them, then they can relate. After 4 o'clock, our phones transfer over to dispatch, so that
Okay.
way my officers can be dispatched to whatever.
Good deal, because you're exactly right, and you need citizens' help, and
Yes.
I would say, you know, if you see something that's just really not right in your neighborhood, wherever you live, you know, if you think law enforcement needs to be involved, I mean, err on the side of caution and probably
Yes.
call them.
Yes, definitely call us.
Good deal. Can't thank you enough and your
All right,
deputies
thank
and your
you.
entire
Thank
department
you.
for what you all do. Do you feel like we've covered everything we
I
need to today?
appreciate you getting all this information out
Yeah.
to the public. That's so important. That's so important.
It is, and it's
They
going
might
to
not know what's going on if you didn't. So I
And-
appreciate you, Ty.
anytime, and we take that role seriously here, and can't thank you and your department for what you all do, your deputies, for keeping us safe and keeping us in line and just taking care of us. So,
Okay.
so y'all stay safe out
All right,
there,
we
and
will.
thank you so much for being here today, and hope to have you back
Anytime.
soon.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
That's Sheriff Stan Hudson on Tiger Talk at 8:30. We appreciate Sheriff Hudson and his entire deputy staff up there at the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office. And be sure, if you've missed part of this just coming on, we will upload this to our website, WPKYonline.com.